Hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your neck? Like, really hard?
But really hard?
It's not because I want to, because I feel like she...
Ryan Reynolds is furious after Blake Lively was canceled by Hollywood for mistreating her co-star, and among all her scandals, this episode revealed her character in the harshest way.
Blake Lively was spotted this weekend in her happy place, which apparently is also when she grabs her co-stars without permission.
And when you really went for it, too.
That's always awkward. And you're like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your neck?
She's out here touching people without consent, then twisting the story to act like she's the one traumatized. It's shameless.
Between the nut grab and the literal product placement of her husband's cheat on this thing, it's all so...
Let's rewind to 2018. Want to discuss hypocrisy? Let's discuss the on-set inappropriate grab that somehow earned applause rather than triggering consequences, outrage, accountability, discipline, justice, complaints, action, scrutiny, lawsuits.
Cannot claim to be a victim of sexual misconduct on the set of a movie while she openly brags about the unscripted sexual misconduct that she partakes in when she's on the sets of movies. That's exactly what she's...
On the Blu-ray commentary track for A Simple Favor, Blake Lively openly boasts about touching her co-star Henry Golding without consent, noting it was unscripted, improvised, and then casually laughs about it.
Not Blake Lively confessing to grabbing her co-star's nuts because she felt like that's just what her character would do.
She said on tape, asking to make an inappropriate grab, not because she wanted to, but because she felt her character would.
Huh. Excuse me. What?
That is not acting. That is workplace harassment with audacity. And instead of anyone stepping in and saying, Blake, maybe do not assault your coworkers, the director Paul laughs it off and calls it great improv. No intimacy coordinator, no boundaries, just fashioned HR violations disguised as quirky Blake energy.
Right. One of my favorite additions that you came up with. I think it's nuts. And when you really went for it.
That's always awkward. And you're like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your neck? Like, really hard?
But really hard?
It's not because I want to, because I feel like she would.
And poor Henry Golding sits there looking uncomfortable, likely hoping the commentary ends before anyone asks how he truly felt. This man's body language could write its own restraining order, yet he knew the rules. Don't rock boats. Smile.
Nod. Endure the take.
Because Blake Lively doesn't get canceled. She gets laughed with. Now the double standard is screaming for everyone watching closely right now.
He is speaking with Paul Feig, who's the director of the movie, and he's basically complimenting her for coming up with this little improv move of grabbing her co-star's private parts, which you can see right here in a still, and she's laughing about it, and then he laughs as Paul Feig does. He's like, it does.
If a male performer had stepped onto a set, met his female co-star eye to eye, and casually asked, hey, nice to meet you. Mind if I make inappropriate grab real quick, just for the character, his career would be finished before lunch, canceled, blacklisted, and press tours revoked.
I want dividends.
Yeah, I don't think he's kidding. He deserves dividends, and Henry Golding's face says it all. Between the nut grab and the literal product placement of her husband's cheat on this thing, it's all so ridiculous.
But Blake, she promotes her husband's gin brand immediately afterward and keeps laughing, turning serious workplace misconduct into shameless marketing through casual ad placement.
She just can't help herself. And to see that she's willing to do that, she'll grab them.
On March 30th, 2025, Blake Lively staged a relatable moment, walking into a Connecticut donut shop looking like a pastry-themed Vogue cover, pretending to surprise fans, fake laughing, and acting like she knows how to use an enormous mixer, all while in the middle of a civil rights complaint claiming she was too emotionally shattered to leave her house.
Something happened to Blake, and by 2024, she was clutching her pearls. She just needed nobody to say anything to her ever out of character or anything, because she moved to file a civil rights complaint in California because Justin Baldoni stepped out of character when they were filming a slow dancing scene.
You heard that right. Too traumatized to walk down the street, yet not too traumatized to grab a whisk and slip on designer heels for a staged bakery photo op. Blake's legal team, with all the gravity of a war crimes tribunal, officially stated she can't get out of bed some days. She's described as riddled with anxiety, fear, grief. Basically one step away from needing a 24/7 emotional support squad.
While she's fought to maintain her personal life, business interests behind closed doors, she has suffered from grief, fear, trauma, and extreme anxiety. She's also been experiencing repeated painful symptoms. Anyway, I don't want to say she's not suffering. Whatever. The reality is, this doesn't help your case.
But when a camera appears, suddenly she's Betty Crocker with a PR spin, baking her stress away, apparently. Enter Leslie Sloan, her publicist, feeding People magazine headlines claiming Blake was in a really happy mood because nothing says deep trauma like glowing puff pieces and cinnamon glaze.
Myself a bit, and guess what she's doing? She's baking. This is the headline that ran. Blake Lively surprises fans by working behind the counter at a Connecticut donut shop, and it says that she was in a really happy mood. The source told People that. The source, by the way, is her PR team. It's Leslie Sloan, if you wanted to know.
And in case anyone doubted her authenticity, she dragged her sister, Robin Lively, into the background of these staged photos. Like, wow, she's so grounded, you guys. Look, family.
What?
Do you really think a sister photobombing your PR stunt makes you relatable?
Good PR because she's with her family while she's doing this. In the background of these photos, you can see, I always tell you this, that's the actual talented sister. Like, let's not forget Robin Lively slayed the day when I was growing up.
Sorry, Blake, you're not fooling anyone, especially when you look like you're auditioning for a new Food Network show called Baking Through My Lawsuit. Candace Owens nailed it. She's literally monetizing trauma, testing versions of herself like she's on America's Next Top Victim. One day it's, I'm too broken to function, and the next it's, look at me, I'm baking with my genius food friends.
It is probably the most central part of my life, Lively previously told Vogue. Food and family, but those are completely intertwined because food was so important to me growing up since my mom is an amazing cook.
Which is it, Blake? Because from where we're sitting, it looks like you're just swinging whichever way the wind blows, as long as the lighting's perfect and a press release is cued. And of course, let's not forget the product placement, because naturally she used a story about groping someone to sneak in a promo for Aviation Gin.
Asian American gin again?
Wow.
Shameless.
Truly shameless. Truly shameless.
Oh my God.
I mean, if we're going to violate boundaries, we might as well monetize it, right? It's so grotesquely on brand, it almost hurts.
Between the nut grab and the literal product placement of her husband's cheat on this thing, it's all so ridiculous.
Now, if that wasn't enough to make your stomach turn, let's talk about Blake's baking crimes. Back in 2015, while racial injustice was boiling over, she released a slavery-themed Black History Month muffin kit for $168. I repeat, $168 for romanticized Southern blues baked goods, because nothing says celebrating Black history like turning oppression into a pastel brunch moment. Did she really think reparations came in the form of blueberry batter?
The irony of all this is so strange, given that, she's the one who made the weird Black History slavery muffins for $168 back in 2015. She's also the one who made the boob cake. She is a very inappropriate baker.
But wait, there's more. As if racial insensitivity wasn't enough, she also made a boob-shaped cake for her 1-year-old daughter, a baby who can't talk, can't choose, and certainly can't request a boob cake. This wasn't quirky. It was disturbing.
She also made a boob cake for her 1-year-old, because what else do they want but a boob cake? He can't declare what he wants, so boobs. Haha. All of this, again, so inappropriate given what she's alleging in her complaint.
And it says a lot about her warped sense of humor. Like, what part of my toddler needs boobs on her cake makes sense? How is that normal? Are you raising a child or crafting the next shocking plot twist in Euphoria?
She's also the one who made the boob cake. She is a very inappropriate baker.
These aren't just isolated moments of strange behavior. They form a clear pattern, a string of stunts, statements, and stunts masquerading as statements, all painting Blake Lively as the ultimate PR shapeshifter. 1 minute she's selling oppression in sugar form, the next she's sexualizing motherhood for clout, then swinging back around with a mixer and a smile to convince us she's normal during a public meltdown. Add the emotional affair, the lawsuit gymnastics, and Ryan's full-on meltdown, and it feels like we're digging through Hollywood's most dysfunctional group chat.
Also say that Ryan and Blake have definitely effed around, and they are at that part where they are finding out.
So here we are on the set of It Ends With Us, and apparently it nearly ended her marriage. Insiders didn't need to dig deep. It was obvious. Blake was practically levitating around Justin Baldoni like she'd just discovered human emotion for the first time, laughing until she cried.
Please.
That's not chemistry. That's emotional eye sex in high definition. Everyone noticed. Everyone talked about it. You don't get that kind of energy from co-star professionalism. You get it when someone's brain is screaming, new crush unlocked.
And she could do that to her male co-stars, but then when Justin clearly responds to her self-tanner, which then she tries to maliciously label as something else, he's a predator, but actually a sexual predator in private.
And what's worse, they were both married. Not single, not separated, not it's complicated, married. She didn't just flirt over lunch and keep it harmless. No, Blake took it to Olympic-level boundary crossing, even inviting Baldoni to her penthouse.
As this whole idea is like a sexual harassment. She invited him to her penthouse and he was holding her baby. Like the guy that sexually you're not having him to your house and letting him hold your...
While holding her infant child. So, let's get this straight. This woman invites a married man to her luxury penthouse, cradling her baby in one arm like it's some Lifetime original plot, and then later has the audacity to accuse him of making her uncomfortable. Oh, but it gets better. What exactly did Baldoni do to deserve being labeled inappropriate? Did he touch her, threaten her, or make some wildly uncalled-for move?
Nope.
He simply said she smelled good during a slow dancing scene. That's it. That's the villain origin story.
You're giving victims such a bad name in this, and it's so frustrating. And I know I'm not alone in this, so I'm glad you're out here, but the hypocrisy of all this stuff just keeps coming. The fact that now she's happy, everything's...
And that's the comment that supposedly turned her into a PTSD-riddled shell of a woman. Meanwhile, this is the same person who physically grabbed Henry Golding's crotch for fun and laughed about it on camera. But Baldoni noticing a spray tan? Suddenly, he's Harvey Weinstein. Girl, please.
Wait, so am I blaming my husband for am I saying he killed her?
This is one of my favorite additions that you came up with. I think it's nuts. And you really went for it, too.
That's always awkward. You're like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your
Candace Owens shredded this claim, pointing out the obvious. Blake literally invited him in. She let him hold her baby. That's not trauma behavior. That's, I want to see you outside work hours behavior. You don't bring an alleged harasser into your penthouse like it's a couple's retreat. If you're truly scared of someone, you don't do full pajama brunch with your baby and toes on display. You avoid them. You don't cozy up and share space like you're planning a future together.
The reality is, this doesn't help your case. This coupled with the premiere at South by Southwest, this coupled with Saturday Night Live 50, this coupled with you still being employed with the Penguin documentary that you're out there hawking.
And if you needed more proof, this wasn't some harmless, blown out of proportion fan theory. Journalist Mia Shaker's documentary, he said, she said, confirmed it. Yes, an actual documentary laid out their emotional connection. Not Reddit rumors, not TikTok drama, a journalist with research, footage, and receipts. So yeah, Blake's, I was uncomfortable, narrative aged like dairy in the sun. But of course, she didn't stop at emotional confusion. She went full legal theater. Enter the lawsuit of lies, the legal gymnastics nobody asked for. First, she claimed Baldoni entered her trailer uninvited while she was breastfeeding. The horror, except surprise, she later admitted she invited him in. Like, what are we even doing here? Why file a lawsuit if you're going to undermine your own argument before the ink is dry?
I didn't lie. I just didn't contextualize, Your Honor. I didn't lie. He did come into my trailer while I was breastfeeding. I just left out that portion of the lawsuit, that portion of the truth, which is that I told him to come into the trailer while I was breastfeeding.
And instead of just owning it, Blake delivers the most insulting defense ever. I didn't lie. I just didn't contextualize. Translation, I told you what happened, just not in a way that makes me look bad. Basically, you left out the truth, which is still lying. If your entire accusation crumbles the second someone adds missing context, maybe your story wasn't solid to begin with. But let that sink in. You grab a man's crotch, brag about it, laugh with your director, then turn around and sue another man for saying you smell good, and expect sympathy. This is peak delusion.
All the things that she's out there saying, he said I smelled good and called me sexy. I'm sorry, you look really bad. This looks really bad. Why did you do all this?
And Candace didn't hold back. She invoked the doctrine of unclean hands, which basically means you can't sue someone for something you're also guilty of. Blake wants to play the pure victim while having a track record of crossing boundaries like their suggestion boxes. Sorry, the court doesn't operate on Instagram captions.
Has happened to her. She has, been in love with Penn Badgley from, Gossip Girl.
So now Blake's argument is like a house built out of AirPods, completely wireless and making zero connection. You've got physical misconduct from her own mouth, emotional entanglements with co-stars, and then this legal attack dressed in feminist glitter. It's not bravery, it's gaslighting. Weaponized victimhood served with a side of performative tears. And just when you think it couldn't get more unhinged, enter Ryan Reynolds, husband, PR partner, and now emotional arsonist.
It has nothing to do with what is happening. Her husband has come undone. Blake Lively developed some feelings for Justin.
Because according to insiders, when Ryan found out about Blake's feelings for Baldoni, he didn't cry in the shower or write sad Deadpool poetry. No. He reportedly said he would burn down the house and her career. Full-on supervillain meltdown. I mean, relax, sir. Your brand isn't that fragile.
There's way too much evidence that she and Ryan are, strictly speaking, perverts themselves. Honestly, they are perverts.
But it gets worse. He didn't just have a dramatic husband moment. He allegedly became the driving force behind the entire lawsuit. Not out of love, protection, or concern, but pure ego. Because Blake messing up wasn't just a personal betrayal, it was a brand threat. The perfect husband, fun dad, internet's favorite Canadian brand couldn't handle the hit. So he decided to go nuclear and take Baldoni down with it.
The fact that Ryan is now trying to get a gag order as opposed to ending the lawsuit.
Candace Owens called him out hard. She said it wasn't about justice, it was litigation abuse. Using the court not to protect Blake or their 4 kids, but to punish anyone who threatened his image. And while this legal chaos unfolded, Ryan was still micromanaging Blake's public persona, telling her to smile for the camera, post another quirky baking reel, create that relatable content, because nothing screams healthy coping like emotional manipulation served with a side of Instagram pancakes.
Blake and Ryan's 17 list of non-negotiable conditions for her to return to set, when you recognize that these people are constantly making perverted jokes, insisting on perverted jokes, and then you reread through that list of 17 non-negotiable.
So let's review. Blake invites the guy to her penthouse, holds her baby, laughs like she's on MDMA on set, then accuses him of making her uncomfortable because he complimented her scent. Ryan loses his mind. Instead of addressing the emotional wreckage in his marriage, he builds a legal missile, aims it at Baldoni, and tries to stage manage his wife's online presence like she's an unpaid Disney mascot.
This lawsuit describes as like they were riding into the night together. She was like laughing until she was crying. And again, he's got this on camera, the way that he just dropped that scene on camera. So Ryan knows that there is.
This isn't damage control, it's narcissistic theater. Blake plays the helpless heroine, Ryan plays the controlling puppet master, and together they're trying to drag Baldoni down for daring to be caught in the middle of their emotional apocalypse. You seriously cannot make this stuff up.
Oh my gosh, where is my husband? Somebody get me Deadpool. Please, somebody, I just survived. I'm a hashtag survivor now. So I'm going to go to marches and I'm going to relate to people what it's like to survive.
So, let's get this straight. Blake Lively wasn't just a wife. She was a Hollywood beard with a birth plan. Think that's harsh? Let's look at the receipts. Their entire marriage reads less like a romance and more like a joint PR venture, as if they got married between red carpet events and baby deliveries just to hit quarterly marketing goals. You're telling me this was about love?
Please.
The only thing Ryan Reynolds has shown real emotional attachment to is Hugh Jackman, and maybe his aviation gin, but Hugh's definitely first.
husband's perspective, like, hey, obviously, like, this guy's gay, no hard feelings, it's a sight to be seen. He wants to be completely dismissed from the lawsuit. He wants out on the lawsuit.
Let's talk about chemistry, or more accurately, the complete and utter lack of it. Ryan and Blake together on red carpets look like co-workers forced to sit next to each other at a holiday party. Meanwhile, Ryan talks about Hugh like he's writing fanfiction in a diary. He's called him his emotional soulmate, his partner in everything, and basically glows like a Hallmark card every time Hugh's name comes up.
Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed, and I suspect that that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
But Blake, what does she get? Passive-aggressive tweets and awkward public appearances, where she looks like she'd rather be held hostage by the cast of Gossip Girl than stand next to her husband. Blake popped out 4 kids like it was part of her contractual obligation to maintain the Reynolds family brand, and for a while, it worked. The family-friendly image was flawless. Curated Instagram captions, matching Christmas cards, quirky, chaotic kitchen moments. All of it. But anyone paying attention could see through it. It wasn't love, it was branding disguised as reproduction. The kids were more like emotional insurance policies for the Reynolds' lively facade.
Hugh Jackman was also in the now infamously cringe It Ends With Us promotional skit that had nothing to do with promoting the movie, which was about domestic violence, where Ryan directed it and he brought in his mom and Blake was in the background. We learned.
And here's the kicker. Even with a minivan full of kids and Martha Stewart-style baking reels, Blake could never steal the spotlight from Hugh. Owens and others are saying the quiet part out loud. The real love story wasn't Blake and Ryan. It was Ryan and Hugh Jackman all along. The emotional intimacy, the loyalty, the public displays of affection, it all makes sense. The way Ryan lights up when Hugh walks in? That man has never looked at Blake like that, not even on their wedding day.
Reynolds' bromances, his various bromances over the years. We've talked about him and Jake Gyllenhaal, and obviously this has been a bromance that has been very much thrown in the public.
Blake, meanwhile, was the accessory, the background character in Ryan's hero arc. She fit perfectly with what the studios wanted. A beautiful, blonde, likable woman who could give birth on cue and bake cinnamon rolls on camera whenever PR demanded it. Their marriage wasn't about building a life. It was about building a lifestyle brand. And guess what? That brand is now crumbling like a gluten-free scone.
His bromance is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds. He has 4 kids, and he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources, like financial resources, to trying to convince the public that these bromances are perfectly normal.
Now we're watching the implosion in real time, and it's spectacular. Candace Owens nailed it when she said, "This isn't a love story gone wrong. This is a corporate narrative collapsing under the weight of its own lies." You can only fake perfection for so long before people start asking questions like, wait, why is the woman claiming she's too traumatized to leave the house suddenly throwing flour around in a bakery like she's auditioning for Cupcake Wars?
She actually surprised people just at a random bakery. When she went behind the counter at a Connecticut donut shop, she was really in a happy mood. The actress made a stop at the pastry stop on March 30th amidst her ongoing battle. Now, it's just really weird about it.
Blake has turned weaponized victimhood into a full-time career. Her trauma comes and goes like seasonal allergies, intense in court documents, non-existent in PR shoots. One minute she's trembling in fear, filing lawsuits over anxiety and PTSD. The next, she's out there hawking muffins, smiling behind a giant mixer like Betty Crocker's unhinged twin.
Genius good friends and their kitchen mixer the size of a car. This is what my happy place looks like. She plays like the Yoshi Super Mario World.
And the legal strategy, straight out of the Amber Heard school of manipulation, is simple. Cry when convenient, sue when challenged, and spin the story so fast people forget you admitted to grabbing a co-star's crotch on a Blu-ray commentary. Blake literally confessed to touching Henry Golding's junk on camera, then tried to act like a wounded deer when Justin Baldoni made a mild comment about her smelling good.
She would. Remember, we kept going like, can you...
Not because I want to, because she would. I'm just gonna grab your nuts really...
He sexually harassed me, she claimed, while giggling about improvising genital grabs on a male co-star and being praised for it. That's not trauma. That's selective amnesia mixed with brand management. Candace Owens even compared Blake to Amber Heard 2.0, and honestly, she's being generous. Blake is out here playing every role: the heartbroken wife, the feminist warrior, the quirky mom, the cupcake queen, and failing miserably at all of them. It's not authenticity, it's full-blown identity whiplash. And the only thing consistent? The performance. The saddest part: the real victims aren't these two narcissists. It's their 4 children, growing up in a PR circus with parents who treat real life like a storyboard. The public is spoon-fed a fantasy, only to find out it's built on lies and lawsuits. And the careers they torched along the way? People like Justin Baldoni, dragged through the mud for daring to exist near Blake's shifting storyline.
This is like litigation abuse. He is trying to inflict pain. Again, this is my perspective, pain and punishment, because he has come undone, realizing that she had some sort of like an emotional affair with Justin Baldoni.
This wasn't a marriage. It was a business deal, a photo op partnership, a manufactured myth designed to make money, sell perfume, and convince people that Ryan Reynolds was America's sweetheart and Blake Lively the queen of cozy luxury. But now the empire is burning, the muffins are stale, the script is unraveling, and honestly, about time. Let every staged pregnancy announcement, every curated baking video, every ego-driven lawsuit, and every lie they told to sell us the dream go down in flames, because we're done buying the Blake and Ryan show. We're done with the trauma marketing, the Hugh Jackman deflection, the kids as prop parenting style, and the lawsuits wrapped in victimhood. So here lies the Reynolds Lively empire. Once shiny, now shattered. Not because the world turned on them, but because they couldn't stop lying long enough to keep the lights on. And all we can do now is pass the popcorn. We were promised a rom-com. What we got was a full-blown psychological thriller starring 2 brand addicts for confused kids and a side of muffins no one asked for. The Blake and Ryan show is over. Hit subscribe. This circus is just getting started.